Just before I begin with the descent from the top of Meall Dubh, just under 2,200 feet. Starting point here earlier today was at the Newton Brig, just about 4:45. And of course I wandered along the trackside here, and then I just took a up through the lip here, over the burn, and up onto this very steep climb upwards onto the top at Meall Dubh. It's telling me that it's 698 metres. I think that's just around, I think it's just under 2,200 feet. But we're very high territory here. The Meall Dubh itself has got a lot of, it's a big, well, the way to say it's a big silly kind of hill, but it's a wide area with several kind of false summits. But that's the true summit when I was on today. And I've been up here in the winter time. I'm not going to seek out any of the images, but take it from me, it's a, well, I'll maybe try and get one at least for you and slip it up on screen. I might just do that. But that's Meall Dubh with fine views across into the River Almond, and back the way over to Milton at Newton, I couldn't film any more when I was up the top. There was a band of rain came through. It was absolutely, well, it was torrential for a little while, but not, it didn't last long, but I made my descent down that way and followed the stream down across this moorland. It's, it looks a walk in the park, but I can assure you it's not. It's lots of ditches and foggy, really soggy, wet marsh. My rucksack is absolutely drenched on one side, but I've had to take my camera off and put that aside, well, inside actually, to keep the equipment dry, obviously. So that big rock down there, that was my approach on the way up. I made a decision, given the time when I got there, was 20 minutes to 5 it was, and then 10 to 5 over there. I thought I'll just do the top for 5:30. So I was quite pleased. 10 to 4 to 5:30 up there. It's not bad actually. So it's, well, I've got this moorland. I've got that deer fence to go through. I think I've shown you before my knack of getting through deer fences without getting electrocuted. I'll maybe show you again. And then what else we're going to say? Yeah, so we just go over the ridge there and down, and then we've got about a mile back to the Newton Brig over pretty rough ground, but we're down off the top, and that's the main thing, because it's up there that if you get caught out, that's where the problems start. If the mist comes down or the weather turns nasty. But mind you, we're into the end of March, so anything would be short-lived anyway. It's all about the wind, daylight, wind direction, and obviously precipitation, but it's not entirely down to that. If you're coming down here in snow and ice, you've got to have the right equipment, But I just decided this afternoon, like after the problems with the computer, it wasn't a great day anyway, and I just thought, well, I saw a glimpse of sun, I thought I'll just do something. So that's Meall Dubh done again for the umpteenth time, but happy to see I've done it from this direction for a change. And of course, I've told you before, that's Meall Beaver. That's a false summit up there, the summit's further back, and over that way is amble. But we'll get down the slopes, get through that deer fence, and then I'll pick up camera once we get back down to level ground, because it's quite a long way still to go. I mean, there's a lot of negotiation and scrambling down rock before I get to safe ground. So I want to press on. I want to try and get back to the car for 7:30 at the latest. I should do that, but I want to get there by that time. But you can see the extent of the water that's been coming off the hills because of the rain. But I'm making good tracks. You understand why I carry a stick? Apart from being noted by the, as a magic man, as a wizard. It's also useful for crossing bog, checking the depth of areas you trod on, and also for electric fences, and for getting yourself up and down hills. Did I mention up and down? I didn't mean to. Look at that brightness of the rainbow. Can you see that? Honestly, it's so wonderful. As I say 100 times, when you see a rainbow, that's God thinking of you. And your struggles. And your struggles against betrayal in life by those you trusted with all your heart and mind and soul, and they betray you. A little bit of evening sunshine coming through Glen Almond. We're heading through the heather, but that certainly raises your spirits, knowing that the rain showers have been chased away. There we go. Bonny, isn't it? I haven't even had a cup of tea. That's why I decided to go to the summit, because I thought, well, if I sit down and have a cup of tea and a biscuit or something, it's going to eat up valuable time. So I just kept going. Definitely need a cup of tea now. But we'll get round to the sides here before we decide to have a quick pause, I think. We'll maybe just get back to the car, Andrew, have a cup of tea at the... Yeah, that's what we'll do. It's a long glen. It's a full 16 miles from the Newton Brig to Altenig, sorry. I was thinking Altenig to Newton Brig, 16.5 miles. I've walked that several times, both ways, and had a lot of good days walking in Auchnafree Estate, and because I think the estate's split into 3 now, but Auchnafree's along here, Connaught and West Glen Almond, I think it's called. I think that's the names. Never see anyone now. I mean, if used to meet the shepherds and all the rest of it, either on the tracks or on the moors, but they just bypass you in 4x4s now and look at you. Sometimes they give you a wave, but generally they just zoom past you. It's just the way it is these days, isn't it? No one's got time for anybody else for some reason. But I always make time. I like stopping and chatting to people about their environment, or their working day, or whatever they've been up to. Of course, not easy doing this in the rest of the springtime because obviously there's nesting of birds, so I would refrain from just crossing any old moors if you can help it, and stick to kind of established pathways and that during the nesting season between now and July. It's not good practice to be just wandering anywhere unless you've got extremely good eyesight, but there's no way you'll hear the crunch of the eggs before you see them, I'm afraid. They're well camouflaged for obvious reasons from predators, you know. I've seen plenty of mice today, voles and mice, and up the top I saw, near the top at least, I tried to get it on picture, it was a stoat. Right, Andy. Well, let's get round this lip, and this is the best walking stuff I've had for the last 2 hours, I think. There's the grouse away. Haven't heard any curlew today. A lot of curlew up by Amble, a lot of peewits up at Amble, but in Glen Almond, but nothing here. Strange, isn't it? Okay, we'll slip the camera off for a few moments and then we'll pick up again. Absolutely gorgeous. Rain. Rain's coming. Incidentally, you see the old shillings down there. That's the old villages and stuff for the way back to the early 18th century. Amazing, isn't it? There's lots of them in this glen too. The old road would have went up the back. More rainbows for you, Andrew, and more wishes. There's the old sheep going. Looks like the little cottage at Milton is going to be blessed. The rainbow's right on top of it, isn't it? That's the main road up to Amble. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, so we're heading down this way at our left right version, and then heading slightly east around the slopes, taking away the cliff. Absolutely beautiful. It's so silent up here apart from me yapping. You just hear the almond trickling through. So bonny, Andy. Yeah. We'll just get along to the lip here and then we'll head down the side. Show you, Milton. Sorry if the camera jumps about, but that's just obviously crossing rough terrain. Yes, just like I said, that rainbow was sitting right on top of Milton down there. Okay, that's pretty good, Andy. Let's get down the slope here and round, as I said, and we'll confident enough. Never say you're going to be home at a given time, especially when you're on the hills. It always goes wrong. So, but it's good to give yourself little time stops, and if you mark these time stops off, given it on the way back, the general rule is it takes longer to come back than it does to get there. But I don't have that one. I always take myself longer to get to my point of destination, and I have lots of energy left for the return journey. That's the way I've always operated. Give you extra energy in case something should go wrong, or you've maybe left something, you know, like your wallet or something at the top. I've done it with a camera before and had to fucking go all the way back up the mountain. Yeah, it's either that or losing the camera, but anyway, I've got my camera today, so all good. Okay, thanks for watching. I might have a bladder when I get back to the car, have a cup of tea and a cigarette, okay? I know this sounds very weird, and I said I'd shut my mouth about things like revelations and that, but I've just been whispered in my ear from the heavens that my interest in Gaelic song and Gaelic culture is because I once was a Celtic warrior roaming these parts in a previous time. I had a feeling of something about this tramping around the moors. I always put it down to some part of my bloodline that I had, you know, with aristocracy. And but it's just been revealed to me that it's because I was a Celtic warrior. Of course, these lands are very famous for Oisin and Oisin, or Ossian, and Fingal, both buried in these parts. It's a fantastic place, it really is. I must get up the west coast soon. I think I need to have a little look at the Atlantic. Cup of tea time, get a cigarette, and by the, well, quietly by the gentle River Almond. Yeah, I've got up there, I've got down again. I'm trying not to say up and down. I got up and down, oh I did say it. I got up and down, and that was from 10 to 4 leaving here, back by 7:15, so quite pleased actually, under 3.5 hours for that whole jaunt, especially with such boggy ground. I'm parched for a cup of tea, I tell you that. So I'm going to close the camera now. I'm going to have a cigarette and just sit and think my own thoughts. Knowing me, I'll probably open the camera again, eh? But that's us for the day, I think. Time I get down the road and put the fire on and get my tea organised, it'll be, well, I'll be shifting on to darkness, won't it? But thanks for joining me on this little jaunt up Meall Dubh. Bye now.